Most players would jog, and get there just a little bit late. Not Tommy, not Jonathan Thurston. They sprint. If they see something, they sprint, and they get there a metre before it happens, not a metre past. And that's the mentality. He competes, he's tough, he wants to be in the game.
Too good, hey. Hello and welcome to Immortal Behaviour for another week. Thanks to our mates at TAB, Andrew Johns, big round at NRL, Sharks Dolphins.
Yes, let's talk about the footy coming up.
Let's totally brush Origin, shall we?
I wish we could.
No,
I had a long shower this morning. I was just wiping it off. But one more, let's talk about it.
One more and then we'll park it.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, where should we start? Maybe just your overall thoughts and then we'll poke and prod to see what we can get out of you.
My overall thoughts were Queensland played nearly the perfect game of Origin football. And for New South Wales to win last night, it would have taken a superhuman performance when you look at the stats. They didn't make an error till the 68th minute. Everything, the way they played, they had more energy, more commitment. They were desperate in the 50-50s, which comes back to a little bit of attitude, but also the petrol. We had to exert a lot of pressure, a lot of petrol to keep in the game with their perfection, with their completions and their kicking game. It was an unbelievable Queensland performance, unbelievable. If you look at the stats, they're off the charts. I don't think we would have seen stats like that ever.
The completion?
Ever. Just the way they played, the way they completed their kicking game, the way they dished out punishment, the way they built pressure.
Do you know what's funny? On the stats, I actually had a closer look just before because their completion, unbelievable. It was the 68th minute until they coughed up an error, which is crazy. Even at half time, it was like 100%, like something's got to change, right? Something's got to give. And I scribbled these down because once I started looking, I was a little bit blown away. But at the end of the game, this is me looking 5 minutes ago.
It evened up towards the end.
It did. Yeah. But New South Wales, they ran for more metres. They had more runs, more post-contact metres, more tackle breaks. Their distance per set was longer, faster play the balls. They had 20 to 5 offloads. So they had a lot of the stats in their favour, but you spoke about the attitude, maybe some effort. Gus actually made a mention of both the attitude, but in particular the style of football. Obviously people are going to be calling for personnel change within New South Wales, but he thought that was the biggest issue. We've spoken about the style of footy. Do you agree with Gus?
Yeah. When we got into good ball, we were playing a club style of play, which is very Penrith-centric, and that works on breaking teams down and breaking opponents down until one player or a team, but in particular one player just can't stand the pressure and they buckle. And if one player in the defensive line buckles and misses his assignment, then their defensive structure's gone. However, at Origin level, you're dealing with the best players, who are the fittest players, who are the toughest players, who mentally are tough, physically tough, but they're the smartest players, especially defensively. They don't buckle. They came with a plan. Billy came with that rushing defence, in particular on the right side. Dearden, Robert Toya and Valholm. Anytime they seen any sort of shape coming off Nathan, they just went whoosh, and it just frustrated New South Wales. We couldn't get the ball in any of those sort of good ball sets to our strike players. I don't know how many times the ball went to ground, I went behind a player, but also we're attacking from the middle of the field. And defensively, for those players I mentioned, defending from the middle of the field, when there's 5 defenders either side, that's the easiest place to defend. I thought we should have got the ball wider, to a wider field position, and if they wanted to rush, they could come on and kick him behind. Game 2, we got 2 tries, kicking him behind. Their rushing defence on the right side. Jerome, first try to To'o and then second half to Angus. Our last try last night, To'o, kick him behind. So I thought we let ourselves down there a little bit, but they knew what was coming and they defended that style of play in which they have great success at club level, the Penrith boys, and it really works well, but just at an Origin level. I first saw it Adelaide 2023. I think it was down there when Hemisko scored that try late. Yeah. That's where I first saw it, where we would get in shape to do our plays and Cherry Evans and Munster on the outside would just sprint, just sprinting up and out of defensive line, and we get spooked and come back to the inside. And that's where it sort of started. And then last night they took it up a level.
So explain to everyone, when they rush and that little dink in behind, it doesn't necessarily have to work, but what it does do is it puts them on notice.
Warning shot. Here's a
So then
warning
what does
shot.
it open up?
You want to rush up. So then next time they come up, Nathan looks like he's going to kick, or Jerome dummies and then plays out the back. All you need is from one of the outside defenders, whether it's a centre or a winger, to stop, and there's 2 or 3 metres. Also coming from that position, because we're under so much fatigue, because of their high completion and the way they play, we struggled to get forward. So when Nathan was going right into the line, they were just lapping it up. They were just smothering us. So we'll learn from that, hopefully. And yeah, it was a tough one to watch, but I've got to say, Queensland, nearly the perfect Origin game. They were unbelievable.
They really were, weren't they?
Yeah.
Do you think that it calls for a little bit of a change, given that style doesn't work at Origin level because there are so many present and past Penrith players? Or is it the personnel? Or is it, okay, let's get in a room and let's nut out the changes that we have to make to suit that Origin style footy? Or is it a combo?
It's a tough one, because as players, when you're under pressure and under fatigue, and you go back to your habits, the way you play, which you're successful with. And that is a huge advantage at rep level when you have combinations. But we've seen in the past this style in which they play, Queensland, they can snuff it out. So there has to be some sort of change there. As in personnel, off the top of my head, I think we needed some more lightweight forwards on the bench. I think we really missed Cam Murray this year with that Achilles injury. I thought maybe Connor Watson could have come on earlier. I thought when him and Hudson Young came on, their speed and agility worried them. But there's a lot of things to consider. But at the end of the day, Queensland was just too good.
On the other side, Billy handled their interchange pretty perfectly, didn't he?
Yeah. I think this will go down in Origin history as one of the great coaching performances this series. Billy made some absolutely huge calls. I think the first one was to pick Robert Toyer. He'd only played, I don't know, a dozen games or something in NRL. So pick him. After game 1, made the huge call to drop Daly Cherry Evans and bring Dearden into the side. And then ultimately, game 3, to bring in Shibasaki, where honestly, when I saw that, I sort of nearly fell over. I'm like, what? And then the masterstroke to bring Josh Papali'i back. So Billy showed some absolute, huge courage to make those decisions and backed himself. And you've got to also remember, Billy's been absolutely hammered in the media, especially the Sydney media down here. And the way he's held his nerve and the big decisions he's made and the way he's prepared this team, especially defensively, I think it'll go down in history as one of the great Origin coaching performances.
Let's talk about a few of those players. Dearden doesn't play halfback week in, week out for club. Took the captain's jersey, the famous number 7 Queensland jersey. He was on the bench for game 1, then he started at 7, had an absolute blinder. Well, he played unbelievable both games, but last night, kicking game on point, running game, passing game, defensively.
Just so tough. Just so tough.
What a masterstroke.
It's the closest you get to a 10 out of 10 in Origin footy. It probably was a 10 out of 10. Everything. He was in everything. If there's a try needed to be saved, he was there. If there's a ball on the ground, he was there. Defensively, he was bashing blokes. He was at the defence all the time. His running game, the show and go. The one Harry Grant scored, when he scored, that was on the back of Dearden. Show and go, got through, legs tackle, played the ball quick.
Supporting hammer.
Couldn't hammer him.
I still can't get over the tackle on Toto.
Scored the last try. Sealed the game with that.
Yeah, the tackle on Bizza. Also, you mentioned it before, that was New South Wales' most dangerous edge. He's up against Latrell Mitchell, who didn't score a try all Origin series. Brian To'o, who is one of the most damaging ball carriers and finishers. Angus Crichton.
Well, controlling an edge, your halfback, you hear him saying 3 men. So your halfback or your 5'8", Munster or Dearden. On the side, Dearden, he controls everything. So he's screaming out when to rush, when to hold, when to steady, when to slide. So he's controlling that side. So not only is he the architect in attack, he was the architect in defence. It was just one of the great Origin performances. Watched him close coming through. because there's been a rap on him, and I watched him very closely when he started at Brisbane. I thought, he's competitive and he's tough. And they went through that period where they got the wooden spoon, and he just dropped off. I thought he was gone. I thought, well, it's a shame. But credit to the Cowboys and Todd Payten, they rebuilt this young man's confidence and rebuilt his game again. And now he's won a Wally Lewis medal. So well done, Tommy, and well done to the Cowboys and everyone who's helped him rebuild that confidence.
We love...
It was a Jonathan Thurston-like performance.
Oh, it was next level.
He was always in the screen. And the difference is with him and players of his ilk, if say, Brian Tutto's coming down the sideline, that left sideline, Tommy Dearden, he might have been 20 metres away. Most players would jog, and get there just a little bit late. Not Tommy, not Jonathan Thurston. They sprint. If they see something, they sprint, and they get there a metre before it happens, not a metre past. And that's the mentality. He competes, he's tough, he wants to be in the game. Oh.
Too good, hey.
Well done, Tommy. It hurts me to say, but well done, buddy.
He did credit his halves partner, Cameron Munster.
Well, they complement each other.
They do. Do you think that Origin performance from Cam Munster will go down in Origin folklore?
Yeah. We'll talk about this in many, many years to come. Yeah. And Munster's the sort of guy, I have no doubt, sometimes he gets bored. And he needs a reason.
Coming from someone who would know.
I know. But you give him a reason, or he gets a kick up the backside, or someone says to him, you won't be able to do this, and he just goes, okay. And then, the tragedy of losing his father, and then he comes out 4 days later and puts in one of those performances. So, yeah, incredible player, incredible, Cameron Munster.
Seriously crazy, hey. Before we move on, the centres for Queensland, you touched on them a little bit. Robert Toya, Shibasaki, their combination, obviously being rookies coming in, no one, dead set no one. Imagine if someone had have floated that in the first few rounds of the NRL, said they'll be playing in the Origin decider, and they're going to have an incredible impact on the outcome of the game.
Well, Robert Toya last night could have scored one of the great tries. That right foot step he got it inside Latrell. I don't know who made the tackle, but they made a great tackle on Robert, but also defensively, he was out of this world. He is just a world-class player. And Shibasaki, I got to lean in, and I was just like, how's this going to go? But he was unbelievable too. He
got dusted a couple of times early and then fully brushed it.
Yeah.
Never looked back.
But we hardly went there again.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay, let's park that.
Yeah.
That one hurts too much. Let's take a quick break from Origin and head to our tab big call of the week. What have you got, Joey?
My big call this weekend, I think there could be some upsets. I think the Dragons at home are a huge chance against the Chooks. And I think the Cowboys, I think they can win up in Townsville against the Bulldogs. I reckon the Bulldogs are just going to go through a bit of a flat period. They've been up for so long. Their last couple of performances haven't been great. So I think they've got another 2-3 weeks of that little bit of flat performance, and then they'll ramp up for the semis. So, yeah, Dragons and Cows, I think they're a big chance, but also with the start, I reckon they'd be a really good bet. It's my big call. Sorry, Tab. We're sending you broke the way my big calls have
I know, you're on fire.
On fire.
Killing it.
Sorry, Mr. Tab. Not really.
Not really. Everyone's still riding Joey this many years on. Before we move on to a little bit more footy coming up, can we talk about Nathan Cleary? Because he's going to be under the hammer from all the punters, and rightfully so. He has the number 7 on his back for New South Wales.
Yeah.
What's your assessment? Maybe not even just on game 3. Let's have a look at the
overall
whole series, and then we can nut out a few extras if we have to.
Well, firstly, he's been busted. We know he's got that groin injury, so he's been hampered by that. Didn't kick in game 2.
Yeah.
Which really affected our performance, general play kicking that is. But game 3, I know he'd be shattered because it was all sort of built around Nathan, game on the line, series decider. Hasn't won a decider yet.
No.
On our home turf, 27, 28 years old is his time. So he'd be hugely disappointed. But once again, as a halfback, to get his team home would have been a superhuman performance, but and that's what you've got to do to get your legacy at that level. But once again, we're on the back foot. Made it incredibly hard for a halfback. But, once again, I think we've got to find that plan B or plan C. When plan A isn't working, Nathan needs to go to plan B. He needs a plan B or even a plan C. So he'll learn from it. But, moving forward, I just don't know what the best combination is when they're all fully fit, whether it's Nathan and Moses, or it's Nathan and Jerome, or it's Nathan and Katoa, or it's Moses and... I don't know. I really don't know. But Nathan's our number 7 the next couple of years without a shadow of a doubt. I'm looking at who the best 6 would go with him. Moses, game 1, they looked really good. I thought they looked really good together. And I thought the kicking game last night of Nathan, it was hampered by the groin. Moses' kicking game was a lot stronger.
They definitely outkicked us, Queensland.
Yeah. The other one's Izzy Katoa. When's he going to come in? But moving forward, I think a player who is Origin would be perfect is Ethan Strange as a 5'8", because he's a runner, doesn't complicate his game. He's tough, he's quick, he just gets forward and supports, so he gets that second phase play. But yeah, moving forward, I think next year, all fully fit, ready to go, I'd be going Nathan and Moses together, 7 and 6.
Okay, so can I ask you, because I know there'll be people at home, both New South Wales and Queensland fans, and we can obviously tell that, we know Nathan as the person, champion person, great footballer, and I know that you want to take care of him as the person as well, but can you look at his Game 3 performance and tell us how you think he could have done it more effectively? Yes, they were under the pump. Yes, Queensland were perfect, but he had that number 7 on his back for New South Wales.
We had to realise the rushing defence, in particular the right side defence, and had to tweak the attack there. I don't think we tweaked it, which puts the outside players under pressure. I think we needed to move the ball more to the right side to get some more ball to Liam Martin and also Stephen Crichton, which then opens up the field to go back to Latrell. And I don't know, they didn't seem like they were on the same page, him and Jerome. Second half in particular, a couple of times we investigated down the right side and then the ball came back and Nathan the ball didn't go Nathan Luai, Dylan Edwards, or Nathan Luai Latrell. I just thought we have a shot and we get a dint and then we'd come back and then Nathan had sort of looking for his partner in crime and end up just playing inside and negate any good work we did on the right. So, but it comes down to pressure and also fatigue. That's what we can't measure. You can't see. These blokes are just absolutely flatlining. But when you talk about courage and toughness, as a halfback, this is your toughness. You got to play when you're absolutely dragging your backside. So he'll be better for it. But moving forward is our number 7.
But you think the combination? So obviously Nathan Cleary is going to be under a fair bit of pressure. But do you think they should share that kind of heat a little bit?
Yeah, I thought Jerome was pretty poor last night. It wasn't his great Origin performances. I just think moving forward, everyone fully fit. I think it's Nathan and Moses next year, game 1.
How old were you when you had your best performance or really owned that position at State of Origin level?
I reckon...
Was Nathan's 27?
Yeah. So I missed most of 2000. Came back, I was on the bench, had groin problems.
Hello.
And then 2001, actually, I missed the whole series. I reckon it would have been around there, around 2001, I reckon I was playing my best footy at club level.
Give me an age. I'm terrible at maths.
Well, I was, what's that, 29, 30.
Right.
And then we won 02, 03. It's probably the best I've played. Okay. So that's, that's 28, 29.
Stay patient, everyone.
So that's.
Do you know what I think? Here's my prediction. I think off the back of this, and we know Nathan, he's going to go back and he's going to have a look at everything. He'll be harder on himself than anyone else has been. I think the rest of the year, the next the next year of footy that he's got under his belt, I think he's going to come out, take his game to another level, and no one will have anything to say. So that puts him at 29 and 30.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think he'll learn more from this than if they had have gone out and won, because they weren't really that great, were they? Like in game 1 and 2, their second half performance probably saved them and didn't show just how poor, I guess, they were.
Game 1, we were strong, but we didn't create enough. We should have put 30 on them in game 1. And then we know what happened in game 2. And it wasn't until the game 2 second half where we started chasing points. We started moving the ball. That's where we started to look dangerous. But we can talk to we're blue in the face, which I feel like I am at the moment. But it's Queensland. Queensland are unbelievable. Would have taken a really special performance last night to beat them for New South Wales. They were out of this world. So well done to Queensland. That hurts me to say.
They were very good.
But a part of me was happy for Billy, and a big part of me was really happy for Cameron Munster.
Quick one before we jog on. What do you think this does for Nathan Cleary's football career?
Oh, well, it's just another challenge on the road. I don't think it affects his legacy or anything like that. But until he nails a decider, that is going to hang over his head, which Nathan would know. But it'll happen. He'll nail a decider. But last night, I reckon that from an individual performance would be really making him hurt. He'll come back from it. He's a champion player.
To wrap it up though, Billy Slater, you're an absolute champion. Yeah. I tell you what Billy did. He got every single Queensland player to play their best game of footy at Origin level.
Yeah.
They were out of this world.
It's just an amazing, amazing performance by a coach, making the tough decisions. But not only that, the media pressure on him, but also his family. I was just going blank. His wife, Nicole came up and said hello after a game, and talking about that, and you could see how much it affected her and the kids. So part of me was just a tiny part was happy for Bill, but I think it'll go down in history, one of the great Origin performances this series by Billy Slater. Incredible.
Absolutely. All right, now it is time for our Ampol Power Surge podium. So as voted by you guys at home, coming in at number 3, he's an absolute weapon, Kyo Weeks.
He's from New South Wales
Raiders.
too, moving forward.
Had a
bit
blinder.
Of speed, bit of X factor.
X factor.
How old's Kyo? He'd be 22,
He's
23
young.
or something.
Yeah, baby.
He'll be coming in soon. All those Canberra, whoever's recruited all these Canberra players, Weeks, Ethan Strange, Ethan Sanders, the young halfback, Owen Paddy, they're flying.
Guns.
They're flying, the Raiders.
They've got the pack, they've got the young guns. Kyo Weeks is standing people up like it's easy. Like he's playing under 12s.
It was Brett Mullins like the other night. He was so good.
Next level. Ezra Mam at number 2.
He's 23.
23 years old. That's freaky.
Murray.
Imagine him when he's 26, 27.
Yeah, well, that's
Holy
the
dooly.
thing. We'll have Weeks and we'll have Ethan Strange. And Izzy Katoa, Lockie Galvin. Give it 3 or 4, 5 years. Our next generation of halves and spine players. Good.
Ezra Mam against the Dogs, he really well and truly ignited
Well, he won
them.
them the game.
Next level.
Absolutely won them the game. They were great in that second half, Brisbane. I think they're the dark horse.
Agreed.
I think they can get to that 4th position. I think the Warriors may get the wobbles with injuries to key players. And if they get to 4th, wow, look out. Look out.
I think they'll go on a bit of a run now that Origin's done and dusted. They got Ezra back.
Yeah.
He changes it, doesn't he? All right, now we've actually overruled your number 1 for the Ampol Power Surge podium at home, and we're coming in hot off Origin with Tommy Dearden. His double last night. What a freak.
One of the great Origin performances. He nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Jeez, he was good.
What did you like most about his game? He obviously scored those 2
Not
tries.
Much. You know what? I liked
his jersey,
defense.
hated it.
I liked his defence.
Yeah.
He just rips in. He's just tough. He just competes, but you were seeing his ground last night. He was whacking blokes. It was a great performance.
Blue champion. What a shame he's a Queenslander. Well done, Queensland.
Can't say it.
All right. What about ahead of this NRL round? What game are you most looking forward to before we wrap it up?
I'm looking forward to Parramatta and Penrith on Sunday, live and free. You'll see it here.
Beauty. That's a great Sunday Arvo game.
I think Parramatta are a chance.
Do you?
Yep, because Liam won't play. He's busted.
I thought you meant at the Premiership. You just mean this game.
Oh, this game, Parramatta. No.
Whoa.
Although Parramatta fans, they're like that. He's made some tough calls, Jason Riles. And, Talon De Silva going there. There's another piece of the jigsaw. But moving forward, they're going to get stronger and stronger. So we're not really patient in rugby league world, but try to be patient.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us for another bit of a chat, footy chat.
That's it. No
Strap
more
in for
Origin.
some footy this weekend. We'll see you next week. Yeah, see ya. We're done.